Mumpreneur episode.
Are you looking to start your very own business in 2022 as a full-time parent? If so, you will be inspired by this week's episode as my guest built a global business as a full-time mom. Hi, this is Eric here and you're listening to #Highly Sought After. Her name is Yvon Bock, a Certified Lactation Counselor and the founder and CEO of Hegen, a homegrown baby products business designed to enhance the breastfeeding experience for both mothers and babies. As a mother of 4, Yvon launched Hegen in 2015 and the business has since grown to over 17 markets globally. In 2017, Yvon also won Alibaba 11/11 Most Outstanding Performance Award for the mother and baby brand category. And even our own Prime Minister of Singapore paid tribute to Yvon and Hegen during Singapore's National Day rally last year. So if your goal is to start your very own global business as a full-time parent, you'll very much love this episode. So first of all, congratulations, Yvon.
Thank you so much, Eric.
How was your staycation?
Oh, it was great. It was first time ever out of 6 years. I didn't take out my laptop. I had a fantastic team holding the fort and I'm so grateful. I had a full rest.
She's glowing
I'm
again.
well rested.
I love my guests when they're well rested because we're gonna have a good conversation. Now, I also want to congratulate you for being mentioned, right, by
Thank you so
PME.
much.
There are so many thousands of businesses in Singapore, and you mentioned yours.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you first heard your company name being announced?
That moment was
Yeah.
surreal and it was a great affirmation, letting the team and myself know that we are on the right track and we are, it's really a great honor and we are so humbled by this mention. I hope that the team and the rest of us, we can continue to innovate and serve the mothers even better around the world.
You guys should watch the YouTube version. Look at her eyes. It's like so much conviction. It's beautiful. Now, you've built a thriving global business dedicated to helping moms, right, in their breastfeeding journey. Somehow I sense that there's a backstory to that.
Yeah, I believe every business, there's always a reason they start, right? A purpose. So mine was, I'm a mother of 4. I breastfed for a total of 10 years and I really love breastfeeding. But the whole breastfeeding journey for me 17 years ago, right, was really tough. So imagine going back to work, I was carrying a bag full of products,
Yes.
like army full pack.
Yes.
Yeah,
Our
no
accountant just did that this year.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
joke. I don't know, the whole journey felt so daunting.
Okay.
The products were very clunky then, and everything is singular purpose. So you have a pump that comes with their own products, own bottles, and then when you want to transfer it to the storage containers, you have like cooler bags, cooler packs, everything, wet wipes, everything, and then you have to transfer it to the bottle of your baby's choice when you reach home. So there's so much transfer, so much time wasted on a whole process. Not to mention milk is wasted throughout this whole process as well.
And already breastfeeding itself is already so difficult. I think
Yes.
it's just worse, right?
Yeah. And 17 years ago when breastfeeding was not so well accepted, I felt that breastfeeding mom was something we are very ashamed of or we're very shy.
Wait, why? Oh, okay. Shy, yes. Ashamed, I don't understand.
Yeah,
Why?
we felt like we were taking time away from our job.
Okay.
So that was the kind of impression we had on ourselves. And people look at us like, so 45 minutes, you'll be away from your desk.
Oh.
And, it feels very stressed. And when we pump, we don't have dedicated nursing rooms, no corner. So I had to do it in storerooms, in toilets. I mean, there's so many examples of stories that I can tell you, I can make it into a long...
In fact, why not let's jump in and ask you,
Yeah.
what's your most memorable memory
Yeah.
that you have of your breastfeeding journey?
Yeah. So, I think, so first of all, breastfeeding was like my passion. And so I did it right for the first and the second child. I thought my third child would be perfect, right?
Yes.
Like, I did it already, like easy peasy.
Correct.
But nobody told me
Yes.
every child is different, every birth is different. So when I had my third child, I was already, prepared. But at
Well-trained.
35th week, my baby popped unannounced. So I had a premature delivery. So that was really kind of off track me from my preparation. So Lucas, my number 3, he was born tiny. So it's very difficult to latch. And even though as a successful breastfeeding mom for the first 2 child, I had to struggle and also struggle with myself to accept the fact that I have to feed him with a bottle. Because we tried cupping. So cupping, syringe feeding for premature newborn. But he was in an incubator. It's really tough. And the nurses and doctors were advising me, Yvonne, don't be stubborn. It's okay. We understand you are a breastfeeding advocate. But breastfeeding can come later. But you just have to let the baby grow to a certain size. And so allow us to use bottle to feed him.
Yvonne, I'm going to... this might be an awkward question, right? But I'm just very curious. Like, is there, prior to interviewing you, right, I've never thought of breastfeeding as a passion. I thought it's a choice. I'm also clueless. Like, is there a reason why breastfeeding is actually great? Maybe we start with that. And then I want to know why you're passionate about it.
Okay, I think...
Because we have a lot of male listeners.
Yes.
And it'd be nice to have them understand as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting because in our business, right, this word breast is like every day. So bear with me.
Please Spotify don't like ban my episode. Like breast, it might be like cancelled, right?
Yes.
All the time.
Correct.
Okay,
and,
tell me.
I think Mother Nature has a way for us to continue our generations, right, with this form of breast milk passing down to the next generation. So why I say that it's a passion, right, is because that bond is unexplainable. Really, I can't use any words or pictures to describe to you that sensation, that form of bonding a mom has with a child when that latch is on. There is this electrifying experience. Okay, so sometimes I actually describe it like an orgasm.
Oh, wow. I feel like we guys are missing out.
Yeah, but it's that connection with your baby, that instant electrifying connection with your baby that no words can describe. And I think that is how human nature, right? We need to have this breastfeeding to continue that human connection generation to generation. And that's why I feel that if I can continue to advocate breastfeeding, it will help the society, help the world in a bigger way. Little way, one mother at a time, but we can influence and affect everyone in a positive manner in a greater way.
Now I can get why you're so passionate about it. And going back to that memory, right? So what you're saying is that it was memorable for you, not in a very positive way, because you felt like you cannot have that bond with Lucas.
Yes. And so we introduced bottle.
Yes.
So Lucas grew to a successful safety weight size. But the greatest regret for me as a mom was he never accepted my breast again. Because he had this thing called nipple confusion. So that to me was the deepest memory, painful, guilty moment in my whole 10 years of breastfeeding. So for him, I never give up. I pump exclusively and I feed through a bottle to him. So to me, so I want to encourage moms and dads out there, right? Exclusive breastfeeding is not about latching 100%, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Okay.
Exclusive breastfeeding is when you can pump or you can feed your child in any form your breast milk to the baby exclusively. That is the best thing ever.
Got it. Wow, I think moms need to hear that, right? Otherwise, they, like you said, they'll feel guilty or they feel sad if you cannot connect.
Yes.
Right? And I'm curious to know, what would be your record yield? Because since you said that Lucas would not be able to latch on, so you probably... I heard you probably built a milk bank.
Yes.
Right? Tell us about that. What's your record?
Okay, so disclaimer, right?
Yes.
Breastfeeding is not a competition. But I share because it is the greatest moment in my life. So I pump because that's my way of knowing that even I'm not beside my baby all the time. Because during that period of time, I'm working often. I travel a lot for my business trips. So the way that I stay connected is my breast milk.
Yes.
So I exclusively give the milk 100%. And so each pump, I can go up to 3/4 to 1 liter. 6 times a day.
6 times. You brought pictures?
Yes, I brought.
Please.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Okay, to all our YouTube subscribers, you can look at the camera over there. Right. You know what this is? Mom's love.
Yeah.
Mom's dedication.
Yeah.
Mom's passion. It's beautiful.
my priceless assets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, baby Lucas. How old is Lucas right now?
Lucas is 15.
Look, okay, he's going to be very embarrassed about it. Right? Hey, Lucas. You see your
Yeah.
mom's love for you,
Yes.
right? Those of you listening to your podcast, please hop
Yes.
onto YouTube.
Yeah.
Take a look at this.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
Actually, Lucas is 13.
It felt like 15, right? Because it's been so long.
Yes, it's been so long.
Don't worry, my
ago.
mom still mixes up my age, you know. I always tell her, it's okay if you want to mix my age wrongly,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
lesser.
Yeah, I still love you, Lucas.
Oh, we love you.
A lot. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. Wow.
Yes. So at one point, right, I actually had a record of 1,500 bottles of this kind of expressed out stored
Yes.
breast milk.
Yes.
Between 150 to 240 ml bottles. And it was really a blessing for me because I just wanted to make sure my child can get my milk.
Yeah.
And then
connection.
at that moment, right, I could actually feed up to 2 children. So the older child and the
Yes.
baby at the same time.
Wow.
So when I come home, I see them drinking my milk.
Yes, how you feel?
Wow, that was marvelous. It's magical enough. Like, it was enough for me.
Now, I can now understand your passion about breastfeeding. Thank you so much for saying that because I've never saw that and I guess I will never, but seeing your eyes and your conviction, I can see why, you know, mother and children bond, there's always going to be that special bond, right? I mean, let's
Yes.
admit it. Mother's Day seems to still be very popular, you know, over Father's Day. It's getting better,
Yes.
right? So I can understand
And
why.
you notice, right? Like anybody, when they are in pain or they are afraid, first thing they call is Mama.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
exactly.
like, Mommy, I need you, right?
I have a friend who showed me this text message and he messaged his mom saying, Ma, I don't feel good. Then the mom was like, oh, what happened? And had a very long chat.
Yes.
And then when he did it on his dad, the dad said, get out of your sick shell or whatever, you know, and don't be such a loser. One sentence. And then he said, okay, thank you, Dad.
Aww.
Yeah, but I get you, right?
Yes,
I
yes.
understand. Now, so going back to the original question, okay, that you started this global business is a huge commitment, right? To help women, moms enjoy their breastfeeding journey. Not just for moms, but for babies as well. So I can understand now it's because of the clunkiness and it was just not effective for the mom.
Yeah.
So,
So the inspiration through my pain points was to create a system, an ecosystem that you can integrate every product into an interchangeable, multifunctional solution.
I love how you mentioned it. Ecosystem.
Yes.
Tell us, how does how will it
Breastfeeding
look like?
is a lifestyle. Breastfeeding is not a task. To me, it should be sassy, it should be
should be
fashionable, cool, trendy, and it's
Yes.
a lifestyle.
Yes.
And it's part of your life that you will never forget, right?
Hmm.
So be it you feed for a day, a week, a month, a year, or a decade, I don't know. Yeah. It's breastfeeding and it's a beautiful gift that we should cherish.
So walk us through the ecosystem. What do you have
Yes.
in the ecosystem?
So it starts with, as a working mom, I need a bottle that will avoid nipple confusion, right? Like what Lucas went through. I don't want any other mothers to go through that. So it started with a feeding bottle. But then with a feeding bottle, you need to pump up your milk. So we have our pump.
Okay.
All right. And then with all this, I need to store them in the freezer, like this 1,500 bottles in this picture, right?
Yes.
So I want to make sure that this whole ecosystem, you can express, that means you pump, store your milk, and then when it's ready to feed, you just make warm and feed in a bottle, or within the same bottle, just change the top. You don't have to transfer. No wasteful transfer.
Oh, moms will love this.
Yeah.
Mom will-
And one more additional innovation of that is because I'm so upset with screw thread in the past. Screw thread they make our life so miserable. So in the middle of the night, imagine 3 a.m., you wake up,
eyes
you
closed
prepare the bottle, you're tired,
Yeah.
and your eyes are half open, half closed. You try to match the screw line, and then by the time you feed a bottle, you might be dozing off a little bit. And then next thing is, hey, why is my whole pants and baby all wet?
Didn't
then
screw
you
tight.
realize you didn't screw tight, and the milk was not going to the baby, it was actually going to everything else. Yeah, imagine father feeding the child. What would the mommy say? 贵榴莲啊, I tell you, it's
it's very-
really
Okay, guys, listen.
my liquid gold.
Yeah.
So those are the things, the pain point that moms and dads would go through. And usually the night shift, right, daddies would take some part of it, right? And I encourage husband to support the moms in the middle of the night to do the night shift, because so that the mommy has a longer rest. So then when daddy take on the shift, right, I want them to enjoy the process
and
as
not be
well,
stressful,
right? And
right?
not be stressed out
Yeah.
about it. So with that, we innovated this no screw thread, twist to open, press to close innovation.
I just want to say, right, that this is super cool, because I have a mentee of mine who just became a father. So Leslie, if you're listening to this episode, please go and get your wife a Hegen. Right? I think that's like the best way to express love. Now, what was your initial vision for Hegen?
It's
Because you started in 2015.
Yeah.
Right?
to trace back, right? The whole journey started in 2010.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after I have my fourth kid,
Yes.
and after going through a life-threatening situation, that I've decided that I want to give back. I want to pay it forward with this whole ecosystem, right? And so it started with a brand in mind, like a product innovation in mind. And so 2010, where we came up with this first concept, the idea was leaked. So I want to tell everyone that it's okay, that if you bump your head this way, right? So it was a big crash for me.
Yeah, and right at the start.
Right at the start, really. We designed, everything was ready to go into the soft tooling, like prototyping stage, right?
Correct.
Where you see your own design being materialized by another competitor right in front of your face in a very lousy manner. My heart broke and it crashed me. But I would say everything happens for a reason. And fortunately, that was a blessing for me.
Why?
So I look back, and that was the biggest lesson I learned about intellectual property protection. And also, we can be trusting and we can trust. However, when it comes to product innovation or copyrights, a lot of all these intellectual properties, right?
Yeah.
We need to protect it before you disclose. So sign NDA before you share your brilliant ideas or concepts to friends, families, or peers. You may never know what will happen. Maybe it's just an innocent comment that someone's shared with someone else, and
Correct.
there it goes, right?
Wow.
So that was a very painful but great lesson. I think I took it as the biggest lesson I've learned, and it's very beneficial to our journey.
Maybe let's put a pause to and zoom in into that, because I mean, it's been a while, right? You said 2010, now it's 2022, right?
Yes.
It's been a while. But I want to go back to that moment where you saw it. Because as entrepreneurs, we get a lot of disappointments. I mean,
Yes.
as it is, being an entrepreneur already very difficult, because we need to like feed our people.
Totally
we
agree.
need to grow our product line. We need to have customers.
I guess.
And then we have
not
some...
to mention you're alone.
Yeah,
You
and
feel
then
that-
people play unfair. I don't
Yes.
mind losing in a fair game, but if people play unfair, then it's just not fair.
Yeah.
I want to go to that moment. How do you feel
Yes.
in that moment when you saw that?
Um,
You said you felt something, right?
My heart literally just dropped. It was that roller coaster feeling, that you no longer, your heart is detached from your soul. And so I couldn't cry. That moment is, I don't even have tears. I'm so shocked and shamed. Like, why did you do it in such an ugly manner? And
So funny. Yeah, people copy you already wrong already, but you're
Yeah.
like, you copy nicely. lah.
yeah, it's a face palm moment. I mean, I'm a very positive person.
I can tell.
So when things like that happen, right, I was very in pain.
Yes.
But the pain was so, until I was numb,
okay.
right? But this is part of journey, of a business journey.
How
and this is
fast
part
do
of
you
life.
bounce back? You saw it, you face palm moment, and then
9 months.
okay. See, at least you say
So
that.
I want to be honest.
No,
it
thank
was
you.
not
Thank you for
easy.
saying that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we look at successful entrepreneur like yourself, and then we are going through downtime, and then we wonder, why do you have that kind of strength and we don't?
Yeah.
Because we thought we need to feel better tomorrow.
Whatever you see on social media or outside, right, it's the glam and the nice side, but
Yes.
you never see the hardship or the really unglam moments behind. But it's okay. All of us will have that. We'll have our share, and it's all right. So
Wow, guys, so stop comparing your behind the scenes with someone's highlight reel. It's
Yes.
not always the case,
yes,
right?
yeah.
So, okay, so you first launched 2010, had this idea, and then Before
idea
you
got
even
leaked.
get it out, it got leaked.
Yeah.
And then that's when you went into IP, right?
Yes. So intellectual property. So the 9 months also start me thinking, looking for lawyers and learn about, so how do we protect ourselves and how do I protect the concept? And so that's where the 9 months went into learning and never give up. So I want to share, don't give up. If you have a passion, if you know that there is a solution, you want to help people, don't give up. So that's where we went back the drawing board. I told the team, guys, this is our chance to make it simpler, more practical, even more innovative. Come on, let's take this as our second chance and do a better job. Yeah.
How big was your team back then?
Less than 10.
Oh, that's still a lot of people.
That was the engineering side of the team.
Yeah, to construct it,
right?
Yeah.
So, but everybody was really like 气馁, like punctured.
气馁, that means how to translate that?
It's like a punctured tire.
Yeah, punctured tire.
Yeah. You really feel discouraged and flattened, So I had to be the cheerleader. And I was like, come on guys, let's do it. Let's try again. Let's go. And nothing, honestly, that during that period of time when we were iterating, right, nothing would beat the original idea. To be honest, it was very painful. But one day I told myself that, hey, actually, if I had materialized that design, right, the original concept, right, I would regret it today.
Oh, why?
Because it was much more complex. The whole idea was not as sleek, as clean, as practical as this one. So when we came up with this idea, right, I'm like, guys, this is a celebration. We have to thank whoever out there to intervene and let us have this chance.
Blessing, no wonder you say it's a blessing in disguise, right? And Steve Jobs says sometimes you cannot connect the dots until you look backwards.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, whatever disappointment you're facing as an entrepreneur, I'd like you to remember what Yvon said, that it's just a blessing in disguise, something better, it's on its way.
Whatever happened, it happens for you.
A reason,
for you. And so take it as a lesson that you can actually make things even better.
So in other words, every time when we face an obstacle, instead of go, why me, which doesn't solve the problem, go, so how can I make the best out of it, which is exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Now, Yvon, I heard you said that another reason why you started this business, Hegen, is also because you had some personal crisis, right?
Yes.
Would you mind sharing? Is it related to...
So I think, it's a very personal story. So actually, during that whole 10 years of journey, I mean, breastfeeding is definitely the top word in my head, right? Yeah. So when I have my fourth child, and it's a fourth cesarean, in medical terms, right, it's high risk. And so when I was going into the delivery room, I had to sign this disclaimer, right? Like to make sure that I understand the risk I'm going through during my fourth cesarean.
Okay.
So the first line, quantum science, don't focus on things that you don't want. Focus on things that you want. So I don't know why I just focus on this. Oh, it will rupture your bladder. There's a risk of rupturing your bladder. So I just keep thinking, rupture bladder? What is rupture bladder? I'm like, 不可能, like impossible. Like, what is that? And my focus was on that. And so...
Your focus is your reality.
Yeah. So to cut the story short, unfortunately, during the process, my bladder was ruptured. So they almost lost me because of rapid bleeding. Loss of blood, right? So when I was wheeled out, when I was waking up, I noticed that everybody was so frantic. I don't know anything, right? Because it was a general anesthesia.
Correct.
So when I was waking up, I'm like, why? Why everyone so frantic? So I always joke, maybe the blood that was infused in me, I was a very angry person. So I was very angry with everyone. I chased every family member, except my husband, out of the ward. I said, leave me alone. Just don't talk to me. I was very upset.
But you didn't know what was happening?
I didn't know what was happening. I know I went through something major.
Okay.
Right? So I say, why me? Why me?
There you go.
And so I was really upset. So as a cesarean mom, we are actually prepped that the second day, it's best that you get out of bed, push yourself out of bed to circulate your bloods, right?
Okay.
So I had a very traumatic birth and it was a surgery, right?
Yeah.
But I still insisted I want to get out of bed, even though I have 3 bags hanging out there. So I have my urinal bag, I had my IU drip, IV drip, I have blood, right? I'm like, nurse, I just want to get out of bed, let me out, And so I went to the toilet. So the nurse was very sweet lah. I'm so thankful, maybe hormonal,
Shout out to the nurses,
Yes,
please.
yes. Thank
You
you
know,
for
our
all the
healthcare
nurses
workers.
out there, healthcare
Yeah.
workers out there. So they really say, okay, yeah, ma'am, we will help you, but just be very careful because you're very weak right now.
Okay.
And I'm like, I can do it. I can. So they push me to the toilet.
Okay.
And there I am standing in front of the mirror,
Yes.
looking at the reflection.
Yes.
I saw my baby. And first, you saw yourself, right? Like a dead person alive. Because I'm so fair and like bloodless.
Yes, because you've just been through a large surgery.
And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, I'm alive. And then I saw the reflection. I saw my baby. And then I'm like, Yvon Bock, why are you so upset with the world? You need to be thankful and you need to be happy and grateful to the world. You have a second chance in life. So that was the moment I knew I need to do something to create a difference, a positive difference to other people out there.
So beautiful. I feel so bad making Yvonne cry. I'm so sorry. But I just sense that for a person that has so much conviction like you,
Yes.
there is always a counter force.
Yes.
And what's the name of your fourth child?
Yeah. So Kimberly.
Oh my God, isn't it so beautiful? Lucas inspired you. Kimberly inspired you. Your
Yes,
children
yeah.
inspire you to do what you do.
That's right. Yeah. So I feel that Hegen is like my fifth child.
Do you
Yeah.
need a tissue?
No, I'm okay. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. So that was that moment. I'm determined. I want to create a positive difference.
And that's the fifth child, Hegen.
Hegen. Yes.
Hegen in Old German is cherish.
Yes. Yeah.
Is there a
And if-
message behind it?
So the longer definition of Hegen is actually part of a very old German idiom, Hegen anpflegen, which means if you farm, if you hunt, you must always farm it back. Right? If you eat a salad, for example, always remember to crop it back. So it's giving back in your own ways.
Don't just take.
Yes. Return to Mother Nature in your own ways, in other ways, but making sure that you always pay it forward. So that is really what I want to do. And that's my calling and that's my mission. And I hope to help more mothers on their breastfeeding journey around the world.
Around the world. And you already done that with 17 markets.
Yes.
Right?
More to go.
Oh my God, you have to go to world, okay?
Yes.
Right, Yvonne goes global. Now, so we hear your backstory and thank you so much for sharing. And tell us a bit about the business because we have a lot of entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs listening and watching us. And today's episode was about how do you build a global business as a full-time parent.
Yeah.
So one of the big challenge that you face, right at the beginning was you being imitated.
Yes.
Right. Then imitated. And then of course you saw the good in it and you innovated and you created an even stronger product. Are there other challenges that you face, in your journey in building Hegen to be a global brand?
For sure. So
I like
first-
when she say for sure she's smiling. It's like she enjoy problems. Okay, tell us.
a wise person told me, when your business is small, you have small problems. But when you have a big business,
Yes.
your problems will only get bigger. But how you react to the problems and handle them and take it in your stride, that's where you will succeed.
Oh my God, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Can I jump in?
Yes, of course.
A while ago, I was complaining to one of my very successful mentor about my company, right? Also running business.
Yes.
He said something similar. But he asked me this. He said, Eric, do you want to be a stream or do you want to be the sea? Then I say, I want to be the sea. Sea is big, vast, you make a lot more money, you have a lot more influence. He said, you think about it, a stream can only accept freshwater fishes and small little tiny fishes.
Yes.
Nothing more.
Maybe planktons.
Maybe some planktons that you can't even see and little tadpoles, right? But a sea, you get everything.
Yeah.
You get rotten stuff, you get cars, creatures of weird alien shapes. But because the sea can accept all these things, that's why the sea is the sea.
Yes.
So he said to me, can you increase your capacity so that you can be like the sea and to be able to take all problems so that in return, you get more returns.
Yes.
So you're going to be bigger and stronger.
What a wonderful mentor you
I
have.
have, yes. It's great to have him. He's a lot older, so he's wiser,
Yeah.
But it's amazing how you are young and you still got that so early. So, okay, got it. So next time when we face big problems, we should smile and remember what Yvonne said. Big
Yes.
problem equals big opportunity equals
Yes.
big returns.
That means your business is growing. Yeah.
Love that. So encouraging.
Yes.
Should be a motivational speaker. Okay, let's go back to your challenges.
So first is intellectual property, right?
Yes.
So I've learned from that, and I'm still learning. It's on-the-job learning. To be honest, intellectual property is a big school of thoughts on its own, and I really encourage every budding entrepreneur.
Okay.
Please really look into intellectual property protection. So what are intellectual properties, right?
Yes.
So first is product design. So product design, there are two types, design registration, so the look of it, and the patents, so the function of it. I didn't know there was a difference until I got into the business, right? So these two, you have to really take care of these two when you are into product design.
Got it. Design
Then when you
function.
go into like services, or you go into like maybe even like a personal branding, right?
Yeah.
So branding is very important. So make sure you acquire the trademark. So brand name is a trademark. Trademarks also divide into word mark, that means the word itself, or it's the trademark, which is the picture mark, right?
So the word Hegen
Yes.
is trademark
And word mark.
and work mark. So the picture, the
So
logo
I
itself,
double
logo.
it. Yeah.
Oh my God, this is beautiful.
Yes. So for
Okay.
example, Eric Feng,
Yeah.
you are word mark as a name, right?
Yeah.
But you could also have a signature, and that's your trademark.
I see. And what about something in entrepreneurship, we have slogans or we have program names and all that.
Yes.
All these can be trademarked too.
Trademark
Words?
is words. So those are slogans and taglines. Those can be trademarks or copyrights. So it depends. So the lawyers will advise you, accordingly. Yeah.
It's so cool that you mentioned it, because as an entrepreneur, we never think about protecting our copyright. We just think about make money first, right?
That's right.
But you're thinking about the downside and reducing risk.
Yes, because if you want to become a global business, you have to think far. So we start as one location, right? But if you want to be a global brand from the onset, you have to look around the world. Whether this name that you have came out with is already used by other brands, right? If not, you spend so much money
Later they block
branding
you
it,
in the
advertising.
Yeah.
And how? You have to change and turn into another name, and you have to manage so many different names. So that's
Problem number
101. Yes,
And-
101.
And let's help the listeners and viewers, right? So if we were going to go out and look for a lawyer, do we need to look for a lawyer that specializes in IP, or just a general lawyer would do?
Okay, I will really advise a specialist in intellectual property.
Okay.
So business lawyers, they are very good with contracts.
Yes.
But intellectual property, there is a strategy. And also at different stage of your business. So as a startup, you can go towards a more SME lawyer because they understand the pain point as a startup. So every cent counts.
Yeah.
So there is, when you're small, there's a way of doing it smaller. When you are slightly bigger, you have more resources, there's a way of doing it global.
So would you say that if I'm small, I go for an SME lawyer first to do the IP, right? The general IP. Then after that, when I get bigger, I'm making good money and I'm expanding to other countries, then I look for an IP lawyer because I can afford that.
A global IP lawyer.
A global IP lawyer, not
so
even a Singapore
IP lawyer has different stage of their career as well, right? So I really highly recommend find the right one at your type of at the stage of your business. So for example, an MNC, it's impossible to work with SME
Correct.
IP lawyer, right? Because they might not understand the degree of the expansion or the speed of expansion. So likewise, the other way, if you are a startup, you only have that limited resources.
Yeah.
Then don't look for an international global firm. Of course, I love the name, but start small and then slowly build towards working with them.
I get it already. And would you say how much percent of our revenue should be dedicated? We always talk about revenue, need to save some. Like, is there a percentage that you guide us? Or whatever amount?
It's almost impossible to put a finger down because it depends on the number of intellectual property you are filing for and registering.
Patents and products.
Yeah. So it's very hard, but it's expensive. However, very important. So that is my really advice to all friends and entrepreneurs, that this is the first thing. It's like you give birth to a child, right? First thing you do is
go register a name.
No birth cert. Right? So
exactly.
you must register the baby.
Like that. Good analogy.
Yes.
Especially if you want to do a global business.
Exactly.
Right? Singapore's still okay, maybe. Right?
Yeah.
People are quite compliant.
Yes, correct.
But the minute you get out, it's different.
That's right.
Challenge number 1. What other challenges do you face?
So once you have a product, you have a brand, you have done all your intellectual preparation, you don't have anyone that know you. That nobody knows who's Hegen. So that's the next job, marketing. And the biggest challenge is marketing. There's also many ways of doing, right?
Exactly.
So I'm very thankful. We are in this era where social media really helps a lot.
I love social media.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So it helps us to speed up. However, social media can only help you that much when it comes to a baby product, because moms need to touch and feel the product before they make a decision for their babies, right? So I still have to go to like retail stores,
Fairs, right.
baby fairs, trade shows. And I remember standing there serving one parent at a time to introduce our product. And that personal touch is very important. Nobody can sell better than the business owner at the beginning part of your business, because when you sell, you're not selling the product. Sell with your story and with the heart.
Love that.
Yeah.
A lot of founders, they think they need to hire a PR agency to do it, but sometimes people these days, they buy the brand, they buy the founder first.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the marketing was a big challenge for
Yeah.
you.
So marketing, and then finding the right partners. I always use the analogy, finding the godparents for my child in other
Your
parts
fifth
of the
child.
world. Yes. So really finding partners, if you want to scale your business, it's very important to identify the right partners with the right values, with the right vision. Together, you can go further.
How do you access that? It seems like a daunting task, you know.
It
Because
is.
everybody reach out to you, they always promise the sky and the moon and the unicorns.
Yeah.
Right? How do you know who can really legit work
Yeah.
with you long run?
Most importantly is the alignment of values,
Okay.
right? So personally, I'm a community style, kind of communal style kind of leader. And I'm very hands-on. When I go to each market, I believe in doing a breastfeeding talk personally in those markets. I can have translator doing it in Cambodian with me. When I personally want to serve the moms there, I will go to the store. I can't, if I don't speak directly with the, the ground staff, I love going to the ground, like talking to the promoters, explaining to them and letting them know that they are equally important. Even though you are ground staff, you are the most important representation of my brand. So making them feel equally important, that is my kind of a form of leadership, or my brand kind of the way we love Hegen to be known for, right? And so the partners, the godparents, have to share similar kind of values.
Beautiful.
It's like
Beautiful.
pak tor, you know.
Yeah, it's like business dating, right? Like
Yes,
why
business
do
dating.
we not carry the same principles
Yes.
and rigor when it comes to finding a business partner?
That's right.
Wow. Okay, I hear you. So 3 big challenges. One is IP, second is marketing,
Yes.
and third one is the finding the partners. But
Yes.
the way to solve the marketing issue is to first look at what are the distribution channels that you feel most aligned
Yes.
or will make your product look the best.
Yeah.
Right.
So I feel that the partnership will help you scale, but ultimately, right, there's one more big challenge.
Which is?
Is production and supply chain.
Oh, especially if you are in a product business, right?
Yeah. I'm saying this especially during COVID-19. You can have the biggest grand plan.
Okay.
However, like for example, this year, our supply was totally cut because in Malaysia, they have to stop all
Correct.
production.
Correct.
And so during this kind of crisis, what can you do?
Yeah.
So these are challenges that we are also learning, and we try to maneuver around it. So I always say, inspired by a Chinese idiom, 山不转人转. So if the mountain, the big problem cannot change, right? You walk around it, right? If you
Beautiful.
can't scale it, try thinking of walking around it. Yeah, don't let it look too big a problem to you. So that's where we think about like, hey, if we can't produce, can we start a factory in Singapore? Fully automated. I know people are very expensive here. Labor is very expensive, very hard to find. But if we use machines, robots to produce, can we solve that problem? And so our new factory will be ready very soon.
Yay!
And probably the listener listening in right now, we're happy to share that we are up and running already.
Oh, that's beautiful. Wow, it seems like a common theme for you, right? That every time you face a problem, a big problem, when you solve it, the ROI is as big as well.
Yes.
It's like a big lip, a big
Yes.
charm.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I wanted to ask you, right, that because this title of today's podcast is highly sought after, and obviously you are highly sought after, right? You guys, if you listen to my introduction just now, she was, she did very well, Alibaba, she won the Alibaba 11/11 most outstanding performance. There were a lot of other awards that we couldn't read out in the bio. And I also want to mention something that when she did her live stream, right, guys, live stream is so important. A lead up to the Single Days event, Yvon, hands-on, this is really cool, right? Founders, listen, you must be hands-on. Hosted a 3-hour marathon live stream to promote their brand bestseller, drawing an overwhelming 105,500 views. And 2 days later, her guest appearance in Tmall annual boss show garnered 58,600 views, making it one of the top 10 mother and baby live streams for Singles Day. So it's phenomenal results. You are highly sought after.
Yes.
I'm just curious, we also want to be like you. We also want to be highly sought after.
I want to be like you too.
Oh, she's very kind. What can we do? What do you think you did? Since it's a nice way to reflect on your own business, what do you think were some of the things you did right that led you to be so sought after, not just from a big corporate point of view, but even the consumers, they love you?
Thank you, Eric. Hegen is a brand designed by a mother for mothers. So I look at the pain points from a mom's perspective, and I try to solve each one of them for the moms. Right? So that's number one. So when you design something, coming from a point where you want to help people, you want to change, you want to create a difference positively, that's very important. And I felt that was what I could do. And my personal motto was also never chase the numbers. So it's not, people ask me, Yvon, how do you measure your success, right?
Yes.
So it's never by the number of bottles or products we sell, but it's by the number of mothers we helped around the world. One mother at a time.
So beautiful. You remind me of Bill Gates. You can say one PC every table, right? It's always about that person.
Yes.
So let me see if I can recap properly, right? About what makes you highly sought after. The first one is you are very problem focused. You're always constantly looking for, first of all, you know who you're serving. Yes. You're serving moms, right? Yep. You have a very big vision to help them enjoy the breastfeeding journey.
Yes.
Not just for the mom, but for the babies and even the father.
Yes.
Right? So big vision. And you're constantly figuring out new ways to solve their problems. So the more problems you solve, the more indebted they are to you.
Yes.
So I think that's my first takeaway, that as an entrepreneur, stop thinking in terms of dollars and cents and start thinking in terms of what kind of problems you want to solve. The more creative you are, the more determined you are, the more results you can create, the more impact you have. So that's one. Number two, you said that you don't think about how many bottles you sell, because then that's very commercial. But you think about how many mothers that we can help.
Yes.
So I thought that was very powerful. You know why? Because from today onwards, if I'm a salesperson, I will never use the word sell. I will always use the word help. And I always not think about how much money I want to bring in, but how many people I want to help.
How can we serve?
Yeah, because then the priority is people.
How can I help you? Yes.
So maybe it's not that difficult to be highly sought after, huh? If our eyes and heart is in the right place.
That's right. It always starts from the heart.
So guys, if you're going into a business because you want to make money, maybe you're in the wrong business. Because the money will come if you help enough people and you help them in a big way.
Right. I met a lot of, for example, property agents, car sellers, home insurance agents, right? Those that really do very well. Their question is, how can I help to make a difference? How can I find your new home, not your house, new home? What lifestyle change can I help you with the car, right? So these are things that I've noticed. And even insurance agent, I have so many friends in insurance, and I feel that sometimes when they touch me, right, is I'm here to help plan for you. And how do you plan for your future? How can I help you to look out for things that you may not plan for? All these keywords, right? Help, serve you. That makes a difference. And you see, okay, so
they
those
never
talk to me about number of dollars and cents. They
how
never
much
say
premiums
how. So it's more starting from that point, and I think it's very
I love it.
simple, but it's difficult to practice. But keep it as a practice, and we will always get there. I'm also polishing up. I'm also learning all the time. Yeah.
No, but it's just that I feel that what you say is very powerful, because what I'm learning from you is that if you make your clients your number one priority, they will in turn return the favor and make you the number one product.
Yes.
Right? So it's about that what you said, cherish, right?
Yes.
It's a cycle.
Yes.
Okay, maybe a final question, right? Knowing that she's very busy, right? She got a lot of things to do. We talk a lot about entrepreneurship. We talk a lot about your backstory. May I know, is it that you got 48 hours a day? Like, is it that you got extra time? Because you're a mom of 4 kids.
Yes.
You have a husband, you have a big business to run. How do you do everything?
I think well, this is common among all women entrepreneurs. We have the same 24 hours as everyone. And this is also the same struggle, challenge I face every day, right? People ask me, Yvon, how do you juggle? To be honest, there's no perfect solution. There's no formula.
Okay.
And there's no science to this. It's more like an art. But the main thing I would say is always be present. So when I'm here doing this podcast with you,
Yes.
I give you my 100%.
I can feel it.
Yeah. When I'm with my team,
Yes.
I give them my 100%. But when I'm at home, I will disconnect to connect. So there's this thing called D2C. We will all put our handphones and devices away so that when we are having our dinner, it will be a heart-to-heart, 100% present in at the moment kind of dinner together. So our dinners are always chatting, conversations, laughters. Yeah, so it's quite silly at the table, but we love it. So just be present. So you ask any of my team member. So when I'm in the office, right, I'm always trying to walk around. I don't like to just sit at my table. I like to be with my team members and understanding what they're doing as well. Not all the time they want me to chip in my help because I tend to break prototypes quite easily. I messed up their displays, but I like to be there with them.
Very hands-on.
Yeah.
This
So
is
be
not,
present.
So wow, this is so cool. Be present. So it's okay to have multiple things to do, but just that when you do that one thing, can you do it well?
Yes.
Can you be extremely focused?
Yes. So be present is first thing. But then I know you're going to ask me the second thing.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes you get a phone call, emergency,
And it affects
urgent.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, how do you handle that?
Uh-huh.
So then that's the second thing.
Okay.
I will start prioritizing which is more important, which is more urgent. So there's a difference between important and urgent, right? So important are like my children's birthdays. So to me, those are important. Like, for example, we have a movie date after this. To me, that is important,
Oh, wait.
you know?
Oh, wow, so sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So to me, those are important. And I will make sure I will be there. Or like, important rugby matches my boys are playing.
So being a
I will be
mother is
there.
the most important role
Yes.
for you.
However, urgent matters can be, those emergency cases
Right.
or some urgent deadlines.
Correct.
So if we plan ahead, we can reduce all these urgent matters.
So it's all about proper planning.
Proper planning. Plan ahead. And so that's how I'm starting to balance out my life a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you strike me as a very ambitious lady, right? That you want to, you want to serve the world, right? You want to help all the mums. So you're also the kind of person probably have a lot of ideas on, right?
Yes.
How you deal with it? Like you have a lot of ideas. Then,
Yes.
then I'm sure you will tell your team.
Yes.
And then you want to do this, you want to do that.
Yeah.
Everything you also want to do, right?
That's right.
How? 怎么办? Like how do you balance?
Yeah. So you're absolutely
Right? I
correct.
sense it. I sense that you're the kind of leader that like
so,
that.
yes. I think, so when we list down all the things, like all the products. So for example, today we just had an R&D meeting, right?
Yes.
And suddenly out of nowhere,
Yeah.
I just, ding, I have this idea. Then I just sketch it out and say, guys, we have to slot this in.
Yes.
And then they're like, what? Then I will slow down, I will digest it and I'll think and I'll be reasonable and say, guys, when is the realistic date to plot this in? So that's where we have to also look at the planning. So now we plan ahead 12 months, right? And is there a possibility of planting this into the pipeline? If not, right, then I have to queue. But is this an urgent product? Is this
Or it's just
revolution?
cool.
Yeah, or is it just cool? Or it's just a passion project?
Yeah.
So I will ask myself this question. And then when I say, oh, actually, this is a passion project, so can wait. Yeah. But today, this idea that I drew, I asked my designers, do you think this is going to be a breakthrough?
Yeah.
And everybody agreed. So suddenly, we're all like, we can make it happen. So that is important. Getting also the validation from my team members, right? To see it together. It's not just me, myself, I already. It's we. So how can they also help me in my decision making? So same thing for the children. Next coming year, right?
Yeah.
It's a new year. Hopefully that I can travel and I really make plans to go different parts of the world.
Yes.
Right, to visit some of the partners that we engaged last year that I've never even met them in person. It's always virtual, right? So I talked to my children because it's a sabbatical year supposedly for me. 2022, I have 4 major exams. PSLE, O-levels, A-levels, and then there's a Sec 2,
God.
Yeah. So it's a major year for me.
Yes.
My children knew it because we always talk about it, we joke about it, and it's here, it's finally here. However, I talk to the children, I say, Mommy has 5 trips to go. So are you guys cool about me traveling 5 trips? And then I kind of rationalize it out with them. And then they say, fair, Mommy, if you go for this 5 trips, the rest of the trip, you have to be home by 7.
Wow.
So I say, okay, deal. Yeah. So that is where we can also plan forward and reduce all the urgent matters,
So sometimes when things are urgent, it's also actually kind of our fault because it became urgent because we didn't predict ahead of time or didn't forecast.
Correct.
Wow, this is very new thinking for me. That because I'm also like a leader, which I have a lot of ideas, and my team are quite docile, so they would try to implement. But sometimes it's not good, right? Because we are very disruptive.
Yes.
But what you're saying is that if I can plan ahead of time and plan the entire year, what's our focus and what are our goals, then sure, I can plug in an idea, but something got to go.
Yes.
You cannot just load everything.
You have to be fair, right?
Yeah. Or otherwise you hire a new manpower.
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you so much. Good tip. Okay. In my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I got so many more fun questions to ask you. Okay, let's ask this question. I think people would care about that. So we understand how you manage time. Some people argued that you should never work with your spouse.
Okay.
And from what I understand, when I read about you, you not only just work with your husband, you even work with your father.
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, you work with your entire family.
Yeah. Yes.
How's it like? What's the family dynamics?
Yeah. Okay, so I start with my husband. So I am the one that convinced him to join my business. So I actually planned for him to join the business. And so he had a bigger empire than me, Wow. Yeah. And he's very well recognized in his industry. However, he was willing to let go of everything. He sold his business, family business as well. And I'm so grateful to my in-laws that they retire because they saw my dream and they saw my vision and they kind of like empower Leon, gifted him to join me. Yeah. So I asked for it. So I have to make it work, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But he is like the yang to my yin. We are very different in our personalities. So how we actually juggle. So from day one, I have this mentor in the business as well. And he sat 2 of us down in front of him very seriously. He says, okay, Yvon and Leon, you have to agree and promise me. You have to answer me this very honestly before you can join, Leon can join this business. All right. First, this question. If there is any problem in business, okay, that you guys have very different opinion, are you willing to let Yvon, the CEO, make the decision? She is the ultimate decision maker. Do you see that? Then, so this was a very, very firm question.
Important question.
Yeah, yes or no, Yeah, so Leon said, yes, of course. So I say, great. So next question is, I want you guys to promise me, no matter what happens, family comes first. Business can change. Employees, you can re-recruit. But husband and wife, you must stay strong together. Okay? Promise? Promise.
Pinky promise.
Pinky promise. But that was like the greatest advice from my mentor, and
brilliant.
I really appreciate it. So from day one, we made it very clear. And so Leon has his own portfolio.
Yeah.
I have my own portfolio. So he's looking after the commercial, operations, HR, finance. So I'm the dreamer.
Dreamer, the soul, the people.
The marketing, the branding, the R&D, the product development. So those are areas that I look after. Publicity, right? So when it comes to our different territory, when it comes to a decision making, we know who is the final decision maker for that portfolio. We can share our opinion, but I will never go and intervene.
Well, this is very useful tips. This is a good piece of video to cut, which is before you ever get into a business with your spouse, go watch this video.
Yes.
Or before you get a business into your girlfriend or boyfriend, watch this video, watch this part.
Actually, it applies to marriage too, you know.
Huh?
It applies to marriage. It's the same thing.
Your kids are like a business also, is it?
Yeah, no, family, being together as husband and wife, marriage is the same. So when we come together, so when it's a big decision in life, right? Somebody who is in charge of that big decision, you know? So it's really just a hierarchy that we all have to align in life.
And to have that agreement before things happen,
Yes,
right? So that we can fall back to that.
That's right. And so with business, Leon is very clear of his role. I'm very clear of my role. But when I go home, I'm very clear that I go back to become the wife, the mom, the girlfriend, you know, the daughter. And so I go back to my role. Because I believe that when I'm at home, there is another responsibility, that kind of demeanor that I should project at home for my husband. So I can be very strong-headed and, you know, but when I go back home, I believe that 小鸟依人, to be that girlfriend, is very important.
Okay, we need to translate that. 小鸟依人. 小鸟, small bird.
Little
依人,
bird perching on the
human.
shoulder.
Little. Thank you for helping me to translate a much better way. Small bird perching. So everybody has their role. They have to respect that role, respect the boundaries, and communicate ahead of time.
Correct. So this is how we balance, and family comes first.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
Yeah. So when it comes to my dad, now it comes to my dad,
Yes,
right?
yes, how?
So a lot of people say that, wow, it's very difficult to work with older generation. In reality, I mean,
In
reality, I don't deny that,
Yeah.
right? Because we have different eras and
Correct, point of views.
And probably social media was not so, I mean, they had no social media, right? So their form of sales, marketing, very different from what we're doing. I've learned that always be respectful, be open, and we agree. My dad actually agreed to disagree. So we can share our opinion. He also can come and feedback to me how he feels that, you know, I can improve or be better. And I learned how to listen. Actually, it's a very important skill when you're with your family.
Yeah.
Because family, we take each other for granted. We will have a biased opinion that, oh, you're saying this because you're my dad, right? Just because I'm a daughter, so I can actually be very rude and just, you know, 撒娇 a bit, right? No, but that's not the way. So at work, I address my father as Mr. Chan.
Oh.
Yeah. So a lot of people are very shocked. Like, sorry, I thought he's your dad. I say, no. At work, I will remind myself he's my boss as well, right? Yeah. And when he addressed me, he called me Yvon. Yeah. So it's very clear. And
this is so helpful.
Yeah. So I don't believe like Papa. I mean, sometimes like during lunchtime, I
accidentally,
will, you know, to make him feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But at work, I'll walk into the room. I'll just say, excuse me, you know, Mr. Chan, I need to speak with you.
Correct.
This kind of- So we know the roles again. But the key thing with older generation is giving them the chance to speak their mind, share their opinion, and we listen. And
let them feel heard.
Let them feel heard. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also managing expectations. So they might want things to be done in a certain way, right? We have to also align expectations that, okay, we all have our opinion, but when it comes to certain things, you have to also respect.
So going back to what you said with your husband, right?
Yes.
That yes, you can share your opinion, but in that area, I have to be the one to make the decision.
That's right. And this have to be aligned.
Before we get into the
Yes.
battle and
Yeah.
into the
Yes.
in the thick of things. Right?
Correct.
This is so helpful. Thank you so much. I mean, this is season 3, by the way, and you are such a unique personality because I think we have not have anyone who came with our show who is a husband-wife team, and then yours is even more, even with your dad as well.
Yeah.
So this is beautiful. Final question. It's 2022,
Yes.
right? So what are your plans? What are plans that you can share with us?
Okay.
Because you have a lot of mummies listening, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So personally,
Yes.
I want to grow. So getting certified as a international board certified lactation consultant, that will be my personal goal, so that I can have the right credential, knowledge, skill sets, right, to really help breastfeeding moms in the fullest way I can. Right? That's my personal goal.
So education.
And with that, I also hope to attract more lactation practitioner specialists to join Hegen and myself, so that we can actually expand our outreach to these moms around the world. Because myself, I can only maybe help one mom at a time, right? But more together, 合作力量大, the power will be,
the power of
will be
unity,
abundant.
Right? Yeah.
So I hope to attract more lactation practitioners. So guys, if you are listening to this podcast,
I'm going to refer you, because
yes.
I have one friend who has been going around sharing, and she's sharing for personal experience. She's a dedicated mom.
Yes.
Well, say no more. So, okay, so, but must they have a certification, or maybe I'm a mom and I want to do what you do. Can I also work with you?
We attract a lot of Hegen moms, right?
Yes.
Joining our business.
Yeah, because
so
you join your
different
mission.
Roles. Yes.
Okay.
So it's the mission. Yeah. So this is very important to me.
Good.
And and for personal, so this is for personal, right? Education, growth.
Correct.
Yeah. I really hope that we can do more, whether it's in person or whether virtually. We want to take this to a global level. Yeah. So for the business side of things, vision is still the same, very clear. We want to achieve the 35 international markets. Slowly but surely.
She's halfway already.
Yeah, we're not going to let any of this pandemic slow us down. So we're going to be focused to expand our presence around the world. So we hope to reach out to all the different continents and continue to build our portfolio of products and services. So we want to bring our business beyond just products. So we are now moving towards services. So together with the lactation specialist team, we hope that we can create more content, we can have more workshops and classes, and just to serve moms, not just Hegen moms, any mothers. Yeah. So my 2022 is anyone, any way, anywhere, anytime. We want to serve any moms around the world.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our Hegen, CEO speaking, Yvon Bock. And if you are a mom, go look out, her products, look at her mission. I think you would be super inspired by her. And if you're a dad, the best gift to get for your wife will be a Hegen product. I still think that's pretty cool. So thank you so much. And
thank you,
wish you
Eric.
Success in every single country. 35, right?
Thank you so much.
Let's high five for 35, all right?
All right.
Yes, 35.
Yeah, and likewise for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so this is Yvon Bock. Oh my God, I can't tell you how energized I am from speaking to her, seeing her inspiration and seeing her backstory. My biggest takeaway from today's interview, I have a lot of takeaways, but the biggest takeaway is, when you make your clients, the people that you serve, your number one priority, you're constantly thinking about their problems, you're thinking about their struggles, you're thinking about their anxiety, their worries, their dreams, their goals, and you make your entire business about helping them remove these fears and struggles and helping them achieve their dreams. They will also in turn return the favor and make you the number one product or service. So if you want to make millions, maybe let me ask you to change your focus. Start thinking about how can you affect 1 million people. And that's where the money will be. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you love it, please remember to subscribe to YouTube. We have these interviews every single week. Hit the subscribe button, switch on the bell notification, and I'll see you at the very next video. In fact, I hope one day that you can also be so highly sought after that we will love to fly you to our studio here in Singapore to do this interview. We'll see you at the next video.